My husband and I have been trying to have kids for 3 years. I've had a series of MCs, and not a single pregnancy was successful. Our recent MC was a month ago. And although my husband never said anything, up until now, these are such trying times for me personally. The tension and emotions are very overwhelming, and I've become too sensitive even at the mention of the topic. He took me to his family's house for dinner last night and my MC was brought up by his mom. The look of disappointment on her face made me lose my appetite completely. She went on and on about what may have caused it, then my husband chimed in and said that he's starting to come to a conclusion that maybe I'm incapable of being a mom. I was floored for 2 reasons. One is that he'd even say such thing. 2 is that no doctor has told me that there was something wrong with me specifically, so for him to declare I was incapable of bearing children and being a mom hurt like a sting. I looked at him and he was like, what? Then told me to not get offended since he was just being honest. He said he loves me and thinks I'm perfect, but still thinks that I'm flawed in that area, referring to motherhood. I had it at that point. I just got up from my seat and took my stuff and headed to the door. I said nothing, just made my way out. He shouted at me, but I didn't stop. I went home and he came and started unloading on me about how immature and too sensitive and ridiculous I was being. He said he was giving his honest opinion about the matter and I have no right to police the words that come out of his mouth. Whether I like what I'm hearing or not, it's still *THETRUTH*. We argued, so then we stopped talking altogether. He keeps saying I exaggerated and walked during dinner and disrespected him and his family over literally nothing. I'm unsure if I handled this the right way or yet acted out of emotions. I'm almost speechless. I'm so very sorry for your loss and heartache. Before you consider another try, I think you may wish to reevaluate whether this is the man you want to parent with forever. His insensitivity is outrageous, and then he doubled down by attacking again at home behind his interpretation of the truth. What a total R. Please consider counseling for yourself, for your grief, frustration, and to determine whether you really want to continue with this abusive bore. SUNTA. I agree with all of this 100%. Please reevaluate your marriage opus. No one deserves to be treated like that. NTA in any way. NTA. It was his opinion, and it wasn't based in any medical fact. Miscarriage is a natural thing. It happens quite frequently. About 1 in 3 pregnancies end in miscarriage, and it can happen for a variety of reasons. It says nothing about you and motherhood. Sometimes in nature, sperm DNA can be damaged during sperm production and transport. This damage is known as DNA fragmentation. High levels of sperm DNA fragmentation have been shown to double the likelihood of a miscarriage occurring. So maybe instead of trying to blame you, he should look in the mirror. Maybe it's his low quality sperm that's to blame, you know? I only see facts here. How quickly his family looked at you as the obvious cause is how quickly you should be considering finding a better sperm donor, because, my friend, he'll be nothing more than that to you. He's not a husband, he almost certainly won't be a dad. A father maybe, but not a dad or partner. NTA. Genuinely, I don't believe that there's such a thing as too sensitive when it comes to your own miscarriages. Seriously. You are allowed to grieve, and be hurt, and be mad, and frustrated and whatever you need. And what your husband said wasn't the truth. It was his evil, shitty opinion that he should have never ever voiced aloud to YOU*. NTA. And if women miscarried because the parents were unfit, there would be far fewer children out there. NTA. His comments were way out of line, then combined with the fact that he said them in front of others is an additional line that was crossed. I'm sorry for your loss and struggles to have children. I'm sure the stress and emotions are immense. Know that there are many others out there with the same issues, and there are support groups out there and available if you ever need. The inability to bear children in no way means you can't be a mother. And the husband said it in front of others before ever bringing up that he thought this in private first. That's such a lack of respect and consideration. NTA. You have not handled it the right way. The right way is to change the locks, send him to mom and divorce him. You forgot throwing his belongings out on the street, but otherwise good advice. NTA. Girl, don't have kids with this man. I'm the male half of a couple that has dealt with infertility for many years. Our 25th anniversary is next month. What Op's husband said is so deeply damaging on so many levels it's hard to know where to start. Incapable of being a mom, walked out of a family dinner over literally nothing. He was just being honest. I mean, holy crap, I'm a diagnosed autistic with a terrible penchant for speaking my mind, and I know that's way over the line. Especially in front of family. I found that addressing our infertility challenges with my wife is sacred ground. It is impossible to broach the topic with her without treading near her very soul. Op's husband couldn't have stomped on her heart much harder if he had tried. U/divided path 4534. You are emphatically, unquestionably, without a doubt NTA. I'd seek therapy to figure out what to do here. NTA. Keep on walking till you run in the opposite direction. You are flawed in this area. Seriously. He is flawed in the most important areas needed for a successful marriage: sensitivity and empathy. Instead of tempering the discussion and moving away from uncomfortable and highly inappropriate commentary by your mill on MCs, he decided to add to the discussion in the most crass way. Nope, not the are at all, but husband and mill definitely are. Oh god, your husband is a total ass. Do not have children with a man who talks about you like this. Dodge this bullet and get out now. You aren't policing his words. You are refusing him to casually cruel to you. Edited to add NTA. You aren't policing his words. You are refusing him to casually cruel to you. This exactly. You could have picked a fight. I would have. Instead you walked out and removed yourself from a cruel situation while you were still grieving a loss. Tell him he is not fit to be a father if he is incapable of being a good partner. NTA. NTA. Please leave this man. I don't say this lightly, but someone who treats you like this doesn't truly love you. You deserve so much better, and the sooner you break off this toxic marriage the better. You can find happiness. Agreed. Life is hard, and if he shows this kind of behavior now, it won't get better. This man won't be there for you in a helpful way. I would have told him that maybe he's the problem, and he should consider if he's the one who can't be a dad, and thus ruining your chances. And honestly, F*** him, and F*** his family for treating you like this. NTA. Responding with, yeah, the doctor said it would be easier if I was using superior sperm, but you work with what you got. Is the only answer here. Sorry for your losses. You should lose him. What an insensitive R. The true measure of a person is how they behave in times of pain and sorrow. Both him and his mum failed miserably. You deserve better. NTA. Losing him really would not be such a big deal. You really should leave him because he doesn't respect you or your feelings. Cut the dead weight. NTA. Semicolon. Probably this won't help you at all, but do you know that sperm quality can also affect the viability of the fetus? Biologically, a pregnancy is carried to term only if the fetus/embryo is viable, and for that to happen both the egg and the sperm should be healthy. Maybe educate your husband next time he spews this rubbish about something being wrong with you. As someone who has had a lot of miscarriages too, my heart breaks for you. It is such a dark time, and when you need support most, your husband didn't give it to you. You're definitely NTA, and I hope you find some support and answers through this. I hope you know this, but you didn't cause your miscarriages, and your mill shouldn't have implied you did. Also, my 5th miscarriage was tested, and my egg was fine, and it was an issue with the sperm. Y chromosome. No one is to blame for a miscarriage, but just putting that out there, and that I'm unsure why he is blaming you. NTA. So horrifying and unacceptable. You are not too sensitive. He and his mother are cruel, unfeeling dolls. The topic of MC should never have been brought up and commented upon publicly. That is your private pain. And to come right out and imply that you are flawed? What is wrong with him? Honesty in this case is just an excuse for cruelty and bashing you. Maybe couples therapy could help, but I couldn't be with someone like this who is trying to assign blame for infertility. Poor social skills and lack of boundaries. This was private info between the two of you, never to be voiced aloud. Heartbroken that this happened to you, but I could not deal with him and his overstepping mother. NTA. You walked out of a horrible situation, and my advice, keep on walking. NTA. Don't have kids with him. NTA, what a horrible, insensitive, brutal thing to do to you. And doubling down later and berating you instead of showering you with apologies and care. You walked away from an abusive event. That is courageous and the opposite of a maturity. Your husband is setting himself up as some glorious truth sayer instead of someone who needs to install a filter between his brain and mouth. Pathetic. NTA. Honesty without kindness is cruelty. What he did and said was awful, and for him to say in front of his family without even discussing before makes it even worse. Don't let him gaslight you into believing you're the R. And how does he know he's not the one with the problem? And if there's an issue with any of you, it doesn't mean you're not capable of being a parent. He was out of line. I'd rethink the relationship with this man. You have better restraint than me. I would have P*NCHED him in the N*TS. I'm sorry for your losses and your grief. He's lashing out, and it's not healthy. NTA. This would have been where any type of love or bond with my husband would have instantly died. This is such a cruel way to talk to someone. I would leave and never look back. NTA, but you're hopefully soon to be ex-husband is a huge one. NTA. Or was the poor whittle fewer disrespected? AWW. The poor whittle guy. What an he behaves. The insensitive lout. And in front of his mommy too. His and mommy's feelings are completely irrelevant in this regard in your presence. You two are supposed to be partners, but he's publicly trashing you. I hope you can find someone more loyal, considerate, and better. Yeah, F*** that dude's fifis. Why is it always that the assholes who constantly dish it out can never ever take it? NTA. NTA. Not sure how you ended up marrying someone like this. I'd recommend serious measures. NTA, you need to divorce this asshole. Your mill was wrong to bring it up. Your husband is a complete P*** and seriously insensitive. Then told me to not get offended, since he was just being honest. He said he loves me and thinks I'm perfect, but still thinks that I'm flawed in that area. He knows how much the MCs hurt you and how badly you want to have kids, yet he says something like that. Imo, there are two options. 1. Counseling for both of you, and maybe you should also go separately too. Get out of your marriage. Good luck. NTA. That was super shitty of both him and his mom. First of all, you don't have to birth children to be a mom. So whether you can bear children or not, you are not incapable of being a mother. Second of all, you're going through a traumatic time and they shouldn't have just been jabbering away about it in front of you without checking, in that you felt up to a discussion. You were absolutely within your right to remove yourself from a situation in which you were uncomfortable. I'm going to give a grim prediction. With how he already badmouths you, in a year he'll leave you to get a girl pregnant. That's the vibes he gives off. Hopefully he is the one who has a problem with his fertility. I don't usually wish this upon anyone, but he would make a terrible father. NTA. Your asshole husband is flawed at being a decent human being. NTA. But he is. I know of a couple who had similar situation. After genetic testing it was determined that if the baby had certain genes from both of them there would be problems. Sorry, cannot remember the medical terms. There's a certain scent in the air. Do you smell it? It smells like freshly signed divorce papers. Quick, present them to your soon-to-be ex-husband now while they're still warm. In all seriousness, his behavior is unacceptable on so many levels. And he's hiding behind the facade of honesty to excuse his cruelty. Please pay attention. He is showing you part of his personality you may not have seen before. Do you really want to spend any more time with someone who can so casually say something that causes you such pain and then won't ever apologize for it? Please think on this and understand you deserve a partner who will treat you kindly. NTA. Your husband threw you under the bus and did not have your back. His comments must have been very painful, and I hurt for you. How can he say he loves you and hurt you so much at the same time? Being honest is BS. He's a selfish and cruel I would reconsider the marriage because of this. Perhaps you could go counseling together? NTA. To be honest, you did well to just walk out of there without slapping his face on the way out. It may well be time to find out if your fertility issues are to do with you or him, just so that you both know. I wouldn't go as far as to say leave him, because it's never that black and white, but he does need to be better educated and also more supportive of you. On that note, before they subject her to all kinds of horrible tests, test his sperm. After 6 months of painful testing and fertility drugs, they found out that my ex's, count was quite low. NTA. His husband is tar and a big one. Sounds to me like you need to rethink if you want to have children with this dude. People that say they were just speaking a truth when they're really just being drugs suck.